Good morning.
So obviously we have,
Go ahead. No, I got you, Dave. I'll just hold it. You pay me later.
so you talked a little bit about the confusing guidance from the CDC. We obviously had the county jump pretty quick on that and get rid of their mask ordinance. This back and forth of, sort of cities, counties, and the state not operating as one unit. Can you talk a little bit about that and if you've had any conversations with, the county commission about their decision?
No, actually, we were informed by a reporter. So obviously, it's a little disappointing that we did not hear that directly because, again, we've tried to work together. It happens. But no, as it is, the city's ordinance remains in place. Again, for us, the guidance, when people, they read it, they read no mask, no mask. No, what it said was fully vaccinated people. Definition of fully vaccinated people are people who are 2 weeks past their second shot of Pfizer or Moderna, or 2 weeks past their first or their only shot of Johnson & Johnson. And when we look at our numbers, 30%. So that means 2 out of 3 Savannans and perhaps a whole bunch of people visiting our city are not vaccinated. And so for us, although we're looking at numbers, we're also looking at trends. And so we want to make sure before we remove the mask mandate that we're able to do this on stable footing. So I don't know what matrices this county was looking at. Again, we've been very clear and consistent in how we can. We don't want to do knee-jerk reactions. We want to be very thoughtful and very deliberate in how we were very thoughtful and deliberate how we went into the mask mandate. We want to be thoughtful and deliberate how we come out of it.
And over the weekend with, your officers and enforcement and everything, did you notice a change? Has there been kind of this shift of, it's a free-for-all, we don't have to wear a mask?
It's been a lot of that. But again, I think that, there were people that I witnessed that were wearing a mask. And there were businesses that still required a mask because the mask mandate was in place. And so, again, for us, I'm very concerned about people who work in the service industry, people who work in hotels. Our hotels are now 99% occupied every weekend. People are coming from all over the place. We don't know them. We don't know what their statuses are. We have people who work in restaurants and work in the food service industry. We have people who work in big box grocers that come in contact with people every single day. I want to protect them. Who speaks for them? And so if wearing a mask, if mandating a mask, if we're asking our business community to continue to require a mask helps provide them that additional level of protection, then I think it's well worth it.
And the last question is I'll ask, we have Memorial Day coming up, 4th of July. I know you've kind of been doing this in 30-day increments, but, how close are we to possibly having a normal 4th of July with fireworks?
Well, I think right now 4th of July is still on the table. I have not made any decisions or recommendations as it relates to that. Our 4th of July fireworks are sponsored, so if the sponsors want to approach the city about doing that, then obviously, we're able to do that. Again, our key is vaccinations, it's numbers. Again, we want to be very careful, but again, the closer we get there, the better we are. And so, as far as I'm concerned, at this point, 4th of July is as close to normal as we've seen in the last year or so.
Mr. Mayor, you talked about 30% vaccination rate. Do you have a theory? Have you talked to people as to why that rate is so low and so many Savannans are hesitant to get these shots?
Well, I think it's a variety of things. Some of it has been education. Some of it is age. When you look at the upper echelons of our age range, those folks are vaccinated. Our senior citizens and older folks are vaccinated at very high rates. And then the younger you go, the less vaccinations. And I think some of it is just distrust of medicine. Some people are still asking, well, how did it take so long? Some of it might be access, but we've tried to create places within the city where people can get vaccinations. I think we still have to try to go on a more granular level, go into neighborhoods, go door to door if we have to. And then I think that this, again, the changing guidance created a chilling effect. I think that people watched and said, oh, well, if no mask, well, then why get vaccinated? Why bother? Why must I take a shot if we're going to be okay anyway? Herd immunity is 70%. I'm sure that we're not going to get to herd immunity, but we want to get as close to that as we possibly can. Again, 2 out of 3 Savannahans is not half, and that means in this room right now, that means if 2 or 3 out of 3 of us, that means we're not safe. There are still strands coming. There's still people visiting from all over the place, and so again, we just have to be deliberate. We have to be very thoughtful in our actions, and I think the CDC recognizes that maybe messaging kind of came out a little flat on that, and I think as you see lately, they've been trying to clarify.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Good morning, sir.
Kind of on that same note, you talked about following the numbers and all that. Our vaccination numbers are kind of low. Is there a chance that the mask mandate could extend past May 31st, or vaccination numbers are still less than ideal where we want to be?
It's possible, but I think that again, for us, we've looked at a variety of matrices to try to figure out where we actually stand. So I don't think it's totally the vaccination rate. It's also our community spread index. It's our 7-day rolling average, our 14-day rolling average, our hospitalizations. I think you have to look at all of those things to really get an accurate picture of where Savannah is. And so obviously those have been trending downward, fortunately. So again, we want to make sure that we're firmly on the downward trend, making sure we're not plateauing at a place where we can have a sudden spike. And I think you have to look at all those things. So those are the things we're looking at.
Right, that kind of leads into kind of answer a little bit, but I was talking about, I was going to ask about the transition index, but finally below that 100 mark that we've been looking at for the past year to get below. And now some people have been following that, probably just want to, rip them off. What do you say to those people?
Not.
No.
I mean, there's not. Again, Savannah has done so well. Yesterday I spoke to Convention and Visitors Bureau folks that are here from all over the state, and many of them have come from places in Georgia in which their business and their tourism industries just have not kicked up, and yet they're looking at how well Savannah is doing, unmatched in the state. And the reason why is because we wear our masks, we wash our hands, we watch our distance, and we've gotten vaccinations. And so it's been that combination of things. And so I'm not prepared to move forward in changing drastically until we have data to suggest that we can do so. And so we've had the blessing of local health officials that have been working with me constantly throughout this. We'll continue to converse and see where we are. And I think that the City Council has been overwhelmingly supportive of helping to keep our community safe. So I'm grateful for that.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
So this weekly presser started as a COVID-19 update. Beyond the pandemic, when we get on the other side of this, is this something that you plan to do for the rest of your term as mayor?
Yes. I think that communication doesn't hurt. I found now that I get less inquiries for media interviews during the course of the week. I've learned that we're able to do a couple of things. A, we're able to get information out about things we want you to know about. Secondly, we're here, Nick and his team, they're hearing about things that you want to know about. And so it helps us to also be able to plan for our week based on that. I think, again, we committed to bringing people to the table, and we recognize that the media, our media partners, bring people to the table. So if y'all want to keep coming, I'm committing to continue to do this. I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense. And I've learned from many of you all, that you all could take one press conference and make that into a week of stories. And I think it's important. I mean, I think that, in that way, it makes your job easier. You're not running us down. On the other end of it, we're not, throwing out massive parts of information. It's much more conversational. Again, I get a much better feel for what's on your minds, the things you're hearing about, the messages Sean is getting on his cell phone. I get a chance to know all that's going on. So, so we'll be meeting with our media partners on this Friday, and that's one of the things we're going to talk about.
Mayor, I actually know you started these before the pandemic.
See?
You mentioned the pandemic. They started every month or Tuesday following council meetings, and they became weekly during the pandemic.
See? Now, I didn't even remember that, but yes, we're going to continue. We enjoy seeing you every week.
And keeping up with tradition, I'll bring up the rear here. Last, really only question for me is just curious how the city manager search is going.
So far, going well. We have whittled down to a certain number of candidates, a much lower number that we are putting through an assessment center process, which is a opportunity for them to go through a variety of simulations with trained assessors that will judge their analytical ability, their speaking ability, their written communication, their judgment, a variety of different indicators. From that, I suspect that we will have group interviews with these candidates. And from that, we will whittle down to a number, again, I'll say 3 just for the sake of giving a number, that we would bring to Savannah and we would put through the process that we did before. We received rave reviews about that process, although very challenging for the candidates. It did create a community-wide opportunity for people to meet the candidates, to see the candidates, and we want them to be able to do that. So we want them to see our city, we want them to visit our city, and again, I think that we're still on time and on target.
On time and on target. Date when we have those final 3?
I suspect that we will probably do interviews somewhere around the beginning of June, and then somewhere maybe toward the latter part of June to invite folks to our community. Hopefully, I think we could have this process wrapped up by summer.
And lastly, one of the final 3 during the last search, John Pommier, mentioned during his Q&A that he was surprised by the lack of internal candidates wanting to apply for this position, that it should be someone from within the organization or, wanting or at least applying for that spot. Do we have the internal candidates?
I'm not at liberty to say anything about those candidates at this point. And then to be honest with you, I'm not necessarily sure because we employed a different process that was based on ranking. I'm not totally absolutely sure of who those candidates are at this point. But I do think that we have a responsibility to help build a bench, and the lack of a permanent city manager prevents that from happening. My goal as mayor, and certainly as someone that is well versed in human resources, both the art and science, is that we need to have a succession plan for every major role in our organization, from city manager to every single department head. We don't have that. We just don't. And that is one of the issues when you don't have stable leadership. And so that will be something I would expect the new city manager to engage in immediately and start developing talent within.
Thanks.
Thank you. So you're going to try to come behind Sean, huh?
Just one last question.
Sure.
Got the news yesterday, Savannah Food and Wine Festival got canceled.
What happened?
Savannah Food and Wine Festival.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Okay. See, I learned from you all, so it got
so you didn't, you didn't know?
it was canceled.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just going to ask you any reaction to that or why, but I guess you just found out.
Well, the Savannah Food and Wine Festival is not an entity of creation of the city of Savannah. So that's handled privately. But I'm sorry to hear that. I enjoy and look forward to Savannah. I mean, gee, thanks for giving us bad news. Any reason why?
Something about permitting with the 100 people gathering, over 100 people and something like that.
Well, I'm not familiar with that because the Food and Wine Festival is usually in the fall, and so I don't remember of us being asked about being approached about that. So if not, I mean, I'll just hold my own Food and Wine Festival. I'll just have a spot and we'll just say, hey, bring your food, bring your wine, but no, I'm not familiar. So you probably have to go through the Tourism Leadership Council. So you probably need to address that question with them.
Well, listen, if you hold your own, make sure I get the invitation,
All right. All right. Well, it'll be at the park, socially distanced somewhere, and bring your own food and drinks. All right. Thank you. Anything else? All right. Well, hopefully you all are going to join us on this mobile tour today. Again, we're serious about housing. We recognize that's one of the ways out of poverty, and the city has committed to doing that, and we're going for full steam ahead. I think it'll give you a good opportunity to see not only the work that we have done, but the work that we're planning to do. So make it a great week. It's going to get hot here for real. And may God bless you. May God bless the city of Savannah. Thank you.